Bharti, moderator for the conference call. Welcome to Capri Global Capital Limited 4Q FY20 earnings conference call. At this moment, all participants are in listen-only mode. Later, we will conduct a question and answer session. At this time, if you have a question, please press star and 1 on your telephone keypad. Please note, this conference is recorded. I would now like to hand over the floor to Ms. Sheetal from Go India Advisors. Thank you, and over to you, ma'am.
Thank you, Bharti. Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to Capri Global Capital Limited earnings call to discuss Q4 and FY20 results. We have with us Mr. Rajesh Sharma, Managing Director, Mr. Ashish Gupta, Chief Financial Officer, and Mr. Hardik Shah, Vice President Corporate Strategy. We must remind you that the discussion on this call may include certain forward-looking statements and must be therefore viewed in conjunction with the risk that the company faces. May I now request Mr. Sharma to take us through the company's business and financial outlook, subsequent to which we will open the floor for Q&A. Thank you, and over to you, sir.
Yeah, thank you. Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you all for joining us on this call. I hope you and your families are safe in these unprecedented times. This is extremely challenging time for all of us, and our thoughts are with those most affected by COVID-19, particularly those who are on the front lines of this crisis. I would like to highlight some of the ways we are responding to COVID-19 as a firm. We are focused on being there for our employees, our customers, our clients, and our communities in what is an unprecedented and uncertain environment. While we don't know how this will play out and how long this will go on, we will be transparent here about what we know today. Our number one priority is to continue to provide our services in an uninterrupted way, while also providing a safe work environment for all of our team members. We are incredibly proud of all that our firm has been able to do over the past few weeks. The need of the hour was to ensure that we provide our workforce the right tools to ensure that they are effectively can discharge their work from remotely, including operations and finance teams, sales, credit risk managers, thereby ensuring their safety and well-being. Currently, we have majority of our workforce working from home across the company, except collection team. And for those who still need to go into the office or into a branch, we are taking extra precautions and being extremely mindful of their safety. We are aiding in other way too. For instance, we are offering free COVID-related medical treatment for all our employees and their dependents. To cater to various communities during these challenging times, we have distributed groceries and essential items to almost 4,700 families. We have been associated with the 8 NGOs to reach out to the daily wage workers, tribal families, children to deliver essentials in this pandemic situation. On the consumer side, we are proactively trying to service customers through every possible mode. The customer care team is actively in touch with the customers via calls, emails, and our business team is reaching out to customers and educating them about the impact of moratorium and other policy decisions. We continue to support our customers and clients by providing liquidity and advice during the challenging market environment. On the business front, the COVID-19 lockdown has not any impact on our ability to render services to our customers or lenders. The sales and credit teams are actively communicating with customers, reassessing their portfolio and assessing their risk and further any requirement, if any, which we can cater to. I would now like to discuss the highlights of our fourth quarter financial performance. It might be an obvious point, but the quarter was really a performance of 2 months, January and February. During Q4, the firm reported net interest income of INR 94 crore, profit after tax of rupees 35 crore, and an annualized return on equity was 9.2%. While the underlying business fundamentals this quarter performed very well, we reported numbers of significant items, all due to impact from COVID-19. Given the uncertainty over the potential macroeconomic impact, we have made extra provisions for expected credit loss on the financial assets for Q4 FY20 and full financial year 20. Accordingly, the company has increased the outlay by increasing probability of default and loss given default by 15% to 30% and made provisions of INR about 13.6 crore specifically pertaining to COVID-19 impact. Based on the current indication of future economic conditions, we consider these provisions as to be adequate. I would now talk through some key metrics. We continue to be extremely prudent about our expenses and continue to strive to improve our employees' productivity through utmost use of technology. This has in turn assisted us in bringing down our cost-to-income ratio to 38.4% in FY20 against 46.6% in FY19. We are primarily funded by leading Indian banks and they constitute almost over 95% of borrowing mix. During the last 12 months, we have built and maintained a strong liquidity position with addition of new bank lines of about 2,000 crore and have undrawn credit lines of about 605 crore ending FY20, the highest ever in the history of Capri Global. Additionally, we have around about 435 crore rupees of cash and investment, which make us well placed on liquidity front at this point to tackle for any short-term headwinds. Also, we have one of the highest capital adequacy ratio in the industry at 38.7%, which places us well for our future growth plans once the environment starts on recovery mode. As a result of our stringent cost control and strong risk management framework, we reported a strong and healthy FY20. Our profit after tax for FY20 stood at rupees 161.2 crore, a growth of about 19% year-on-year. Our net interest income was 20% higher at rupees 387.2 crore for FY20. During FY20, we disbursed approximately rupees 1,276 crore, taking our AUM to 4,035 crore. MSME lending continues to be the key focus area and constitutes 51% of the book, while the rest of the contribution comes from construction finance and housing finance, constituting 24% and 22% of overall portfolio respectively. Asset quality remained healthy with GNPA 90 plus DPD portfolio at 2.36% and net NPA at 0.79%. Our net interest margin have improved to 9.5% in FY20 compared to 9.3% in FY9, while interest spread increased to 6.4% FY20 against 5.7% FY19. We have maintained credit rating of A plus and A plus from CARE and AA minus from Brickwork amid peer downgrade, especially for the wholesale finance lenders. Our ROE stood at about 11%, while our return on assets stood at about 3.7% for FY20. We have also received approval from the largest lender of the country for securitization of loans to the tune of 500 crore rupees, and also an MOU signed with the top PSB for co-origination of loan during FY20. We continued focusing on expanding our retail book, and successful adoption of low-cost technology-driven hub and spoke model has assisted us in tapping underserved markets in cost-efficient manner and optimized turnaround times. The sector has been adversely impacted due to the COVID crisis, and I will briefly explain how we are positioned in the current scenario. While the government and the RBI has taken multiple measures to boost economic growth, the sentiment are still weak and recovery is going to take some time. RBI also took unprecedented measures of permitting moratorium for all the loans till May 31st. We applaud them for the same. However, there are moral hazards and potential behavioral issues by the borrowers that we need to be careful about. Given the severity of the shock, RBI will be required to take more and more such measures for NBFCs and housing finance companies, and the government must also intervene to take measures of revival, specifically for sector like MSME, real estate, hospitality, etc. Talking about our major portfolio, that is MSME, which have been severely impacted due to the lockdown, especially for those MSME located in red zones area. The sector is facing challenges of asset quality and repayment stress due to the lack of visibility of cash flows of these borrowers even when the lockdown is lifted. At Capri, we have been focused on lending in Tier 3, Tier 4 cities. Majority of branches falls in the orange and green zone, where businesses have resumed operations. As a matter of fact, only 1% of our total customers are engaged in industries such as tourism and restaurant that are severely impacted by COVID-19. While the industry was reeling under severe pain prior to COVID as well, we already had slowed our pace of disbursal due to slowdown in the business environment. Coming to our construction finance portfolio, it does not pose us with the much threat, as a majority of our projects that we lend to are affordable housing projects, and our average exposure to our construction portfolio stands at about 7 crore rupees per customer. As per NRO Consumer Sentiment Survey made 2020, demand is undented post-COVID-19 in case affordable housing project as well. So yes, probably in middle income group and higher income group kind of projects, we are seeing subdued housing demand which will impact project cash flows and deterioration of asset quality, but that is exactly not where we land. On our housing finance subsidiary, we have been lending in affordable housing to small ticket size borrowers with average ticket size about 10 lakh rupees. In this regard, we have been very proactive about our multi-layer credit approach, which ensures that credit team personally spends time with the customer prior to disbursal to understand their income source. Besides, the adequate technical valuation and legal team also do their due diligence. We have an average loan to value of about 59%, which would likely offset any fall in the prices and won't impact in our ability to recover in the event of default from a customer. While we are taking all possible steps to ensure we can get back to track, especially in areas in orange and green zone, the situation is still very fluid. However, at this stage, I would like to mention that we are in a comfortable position given our strong liquidity over rupees 435 crore rupees cash in hand, plus undrawn limits of 600 crore plus, which gives us enough headroom to manage our financial obligations. So to wrap up the challenge, we are also facing all of us. The COVID-19 crisis continues to unfold around the globe are unprecedented, although we don't quite know what the path will look like going forward. What we do know is that we will continue to be there for all our employees, clients, customers, and communities as we always have been, and we have the required talent, resources, and operational resiliency to do so. Our employees have proven that being resilient is not just about maintaining operation, it is also about culture, and that feels stronger than ever with our team across the country working harder than ever to continue to serve our clients, customers, and communities. We have never been proud of our people, and we simply can't thank them enough. And with that, we may please open the line for Q&A.
Thank you, sir. Ladies and gentlemen, we will now begin the question and answer session. If you have a question, please press star and 1 on your telephone keypad and wait for your turn to ask the question. If you would like to withdraw your request, you may do so by pressing star and 1 again. Ladies and gentlemen, if you have a question, please press star and 1 on your telephone keypad. First question comes from Raghav Kabra from Excel Investments. Please go ahead.
Hello. Yeah. Good afternoon, sir, and thanks for the opportunity. Am I audible, sir?
Yes, I can hear you.
Yeah. So I have a few questions. The first one is, sir, just wanted to understand your views in terms of what are the key problems that NBFCs are facing at this moment. Yes, sir. I will ask after you answer this question.
Okay. So I think there is no key problem. There is an environment of uncertainty how long this effect of COVID will remain, and everybody is engaged in assessing their existing portfolio and also revisiting their underwriting policies. At Capri also, we have already evaluated which are the businesses are severely impacted, which are the businesses we are not going to lend, which are the businesses we have to lend more. So I think NBFC are in the assessment mode. Besides, in the retail side, we have to divide the problem between unsecured portfolio and secured portfolio differently. So while unsecured portfolio, the problem may be severe in terms of NPA and customer not have a prioritized repayment. And in secured portfolio, the borrower will always prioritize to repay. A lot of NBFCs which are focused on the more corporate lending and the big ticket size loans. I think they may not get the required funding from banks because banks are cautious, and a lot of rating downgrades we are anticipating from rating agencies. So I think that the effect and the problems will vary from a company to company depending on their portfolio and sector and how they operate.
Second one is, even if it is uncertain, during this current environment, but can you still tell us what sort of numbers are you working internally in terms of growth and disbursements for the coming quarters, if you have done some assessment?
So I think book will degrow in the first quarter. Reason being, except those businesses which are in the retail, grocery and support system of retail and grocery distribution, there are no other businesses we may start lending. Once the lockdown is lifted, in every branch level, our local team will submit their analysis. What is their revised demand and what is the businesses they would like to lend. Our underwriting team is going to reassess that and then do the changes based on the localized policy for each region differently. And then we start lending. So I think precisely we cannot say today what could be the growth numbers. We do not know how the situation will unfold in everywhere. However, our more than 50% branches are in the orange and green zone, which means that 50% of business should resume operation by mid of June. However, we are cautious. We are not yet started the disbursement except few retail, grocery and the stores which are operational as of now.
Okay, sir. So one more thing. How is the situation in terms of borrowing market as of now? Can you give us how much of bank lines have you added post this lockdown?
So we already have adequate liquidity as I explained. However, one of the lender whose interest rate was high in this COVID time, we have prepaid about 50 crore rupees, and some of the bankers were identifying to prepay their loan because we have adequate liquidity. We are expecting under TLTRO, we will get few bank sanctions which are in the sanction stage, and the final outcome of those bank lines will come to know by mid of June. However, these additional bank lines we are going to use to repay the high cost debt or reduce the cost of fund, because I think for next 12 or 15 months we already have adequate credit line, and that is not worrying. So these all additional credit line which we get are going to be utilized to repay some of the debt which is expensive than the new credit lines.
Okay, sir. That's all from my side. Thanks.
Thank you, sir. Next question comes from Darpin Shah from HDFC Securities. Please go ahead.
Yeah. So thanks for the opportunity. If you can, take us through the moratorium which has been availed by borrowers in each of the segments.
So if we talk about our housing finance company, housing finance borrower have opted about 34%, and in retail lending MSME sector, about 44% customer have opted for the moratorium, and in construction finance, almost 35% of the customer have opted for the moratorium.
So this is by number or by value?
By
Number of
value.
borrowers?
By value.
Yeah. Okay, and if you can provide us the number for by number as well. You have it?
Yes, we can provide by number. So if you go by count wise, in CGCL, MSME is about 39.1%. In housing finance is about 29.7%.
Okay. Fair enough. And so one last question from my end is, how are the banks, what is the discussion with banks regarding moratorium for NBFCs? Are they allowing you to avail moratorium, or what kind of discussions you are having with them?
So I think off late every bank have allowed, but since at Capri we are having so much liquidity available, it was not making any sense for us to go to avail the moratorium. So we are not going to avail. All banks, majority of banks have offered us the moratorium, but we have already conveyed them in writing that we do not wish to avail the moratorium from banks. While we are giving to our customers, but we are not availing it from the banks.
Okay. And one last thing, how much liability payments do we need to do in the next 6 months?
6 months, it will be about 400 crore rupees.
Okay.
But
Okay.
if you see, we have a steady cash flow of repayment also, and already there are bank lines with us, including cash and cash equivalent, which is lying in the mutual fund and all. It's about 435 crore rupees, and about 600 crore is undrawn line. Plus 500 crore rupees additional lines available for securitization, which are not yet used. So the huge liquidity available. We don't foresee that we will require any further funding. And despite our customer chooses the moratorium and even the RBI increases the moratorium further, I don't think the liquidity is the issue. The major challenge is how to restart the business, how to redefine the right policies, how to take the advantage of the market where a lot of NBFC may not be able to lend even to the needy and good borrowers. And that is what we are strategizing. When the market reopens up, we will find that many players may not be willing to lend. And that is the time where can we choose our borrowers very, very carefully and with the high LTV margin, with the more safety by picking a good borrower, how we can grow our book.
Okay. Great, sir. Congratulations and thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Ladies and gentlemen, if you have a question, please press star and 1 on your telephone keypad. I repeat, ladies and gentlemen, if you have a question, please press star and 1 on your telephone keypad. Next question comes from Pratik Chheda from IIFL Securities. Please go ahead.
Yeah, thanks for taking my question. My question is, you mentioned that there is a possibility of a moratorium being extended. So just wanted to understand if there is a situation where the moratorium is extended by a month or so, is there any anticipation where how much of the customer then would opt for moratorium, and if there is a steep rise in this number, and what is the threshold level where you as an NBFC then would want your liability side moratorium, you will start applying for a liability side moratorium? And how are the banks approaching this? I mean, are most of them allowing NBFC moratorium, or they are hesitant right now? What is the current situation in that respect?
We do not know whether the moratorium will come or not, and then whenever it comes, based on the situation, I think case to case basis we will take the approach. But as of now, we are not opted for the moratorium with the lenders. So we really cannot comment in a detailed way on these things. If the moratorium is extended, how many months it will be extended, and whether bank will do or not. I think that is left to the RBI and to the lenders.
Okay. And second question is, within MSME, I mean, is there any segment-wise breakup of which industries are, witnessing good amount of collection efficiency, and which are the segments which are, pretty low in terms of collection efficiency?
So that analysis we have not done, but our business is very small ticket size lenders. So it is not a such we may can figure out the sector wise, but I think this is all front end and small units of manufacturing and assembly and service areas. We have not figured out that, and maybe we can do that, and we can post that on that site.
Okay.
Thank you, sir. Ladies and gentlemen, if you have a question, please press star and 1 on your telephone keypad. Next question comes from Preeti Singh from Value Investments. Please go ahead.
Thank you, Bharti. Good afternoon, sir. So my question was, do you think that the measures taken by RBI are enough for smaller NBFCs to survive during this current pandemic? And what other measures do you think that the government or RBI should be taking in this front?
So I think RBI has timely intervened and done the targeted repo operations whereby banks, they have pushed banks to lend to NBFCs. So I believe that NBFC and Housing Finance Company may not have the major challenge on the liquidity side, except few specific NBFC who might have because of their rating issue or maybe because of their high corporate or high exposure to the high ticket size real estate developers. I believe that some of the NBFCs may wish for one-time restructuring offering to their customers which are in the real estate sector side. But so far, I think NBFC sector is quite comfortable on the liquidity side. I think major challenge every NBFC is figuring out how to do lending and which are the sector they can lend. They have to figure out their way, because so far it is not clear that when the normalcy is going to come back. I think that is a question nobody have the answer by when we have a protocol medical treatment which is effective, or maybe we can find a vaccine. Everybody can be free from the fear of this contagion disease.
Yes, thank you, sir. So now, another question.
भैया आवाज नहीं करोगे क्या इधर?
Hello.
Yeah, sorry, sir. So my next question would be, how do you think the housing market will pan out in the next few quarters, since the repayment capability of many borrowers will be hit because of the salary cuts and the job loss?
So in housing finance, I think demand from salaried customer may not get impacted much, but from the self-employment section, the demand may be slowed down. Further, I think the property prices also, developer will start offering at a lower prices to push the inventories. So we have to see, while larger project may face the problem of labor and because a lot of labor have already migrated. So this year is going to be a difficult year for real estate side. Smaller project may face the problem which may not be that acute, and the larger project may have much more difficult times.
Okay, sir. Also, so, given the fact that the moratorium was available from 1st March, so your MSME NPAs have gone up significantly in the quarter ended Q4. So, what sort of stress do you foresee in your MSME portfolio in the coming quarter?
So coming quarter till May, there is a moratorium available. So I think we will know in the June. Definitely there will be some spike in the NPAs, but we can't assess so far now. Once we start collecting from the customers whose moratorium is ended and who is impacted and who is not, that we are already trying to assess the situation on ground. Our credit team and the branch people are already in touch with the customers. Some of the customers, from their available cash flows, they are still paying and not opting for moratorium despite that is available. I think that kind of a customer, when they require money, will be able to lend them further as well. However, the real impact on NPA will come from only in June.
Okay, sir. So one last question is for data point. So what percentage of your portfolio would be in the green or orange zones at this moment? And what are the trends in terms of repayment you are seeing in these zones?
So in terms of branch presence, it is 50% in the red and balance 50% in the red, the orange and green. And as far as POS is concerned, Ashish, have you prepared that analysis?
Yeah, at present that is not there, but it is approximately same 50% around.
Okay, I think we should upload that on our website also. So ma'am, that detail is not readily available. You can either contact us, or we can definitely upload this information, add one slide in the presentation and add it.
Okay, thank you so much. I'll be looking at it on your website. Thank you. That's it from my side. Thank you so much.
Thank you, ma'am. Ladies and gentlemen, if you have a question, please press star and 1 on your telephone keypad. Repeat, ladies and gentlemen, if you have a question, please press star and 1 on your telephone keypad. Next question comes from Lok Shah from Monarch Network. Please go ahead.
Yeah, thanks for the opportunity. Good afternoon, sir. Two questions from my side. Clearly, the first question here, the strength for Capri lies in its strong capital position, capital adequacy of 38% and the strong liquidity, the numbers that you have talked about. But what is it that you're gathering from circles of NBFCs, especially the ones which are low on capital, in terms of some kind of, liquidity aid or some relaxation on the capital side? Because we also have housing finance norms in terms of increasing their capital adequacy that starts from this year.
Correct.
So what is it that, you've been hearing, talking between your circles of NBFC entities, to ensure that there is liquidity in the system, to adhere to their liability obligations? Or what is it that, should really provide a wheel to kickstart the overall credit cycle?
I think there's two aspects of it. One is liquidity available to NBFCs so that they can meet their repayment obligations. That is one aspect. Another aspect is liquidity NBFC require for onward lending, for the fresh business. So liquidity available for repayment, the banks are already proactively working with to knowing how much repayment obligation they are having, how much cash their deferment is happening because of moratorium. So the data is already sought by RBI as well as the banks from their customers, and based on that they are addressing this need on a case-to-case basis where banks are taking term loan request and doing that.
Okay.
Yes. However, no NBFC is able to yet figure out how much lending they will be doing the current year. So I think that question, nobody has a clear answer, while everybody know their repayment obligations and all that. So I think it differs from a company to company.
Sure.
But I think liquidity is not going to be a major challenge this year because banks are proactively providing and banks are taking corrective steps, and government have realized all NBFC in housing finance sector is key important to deliver the credit to the sector and in the areas where banks can't reach.
Sure. Okay. And do you think, in a vehicle like SIDBI, or maybe not really Mudra in its existing format, but those two vehicles can also play an important role in ensuring liquidity to the NBFC sector?
So I think SIDBI has already announced the 15,000 crore of a refinance window, a special window. Besides, they on a regular basis also they are offering refinance to their customers and all. So as I said, the worry is not on availability of liquidity.
Right. Okay.
I think worry is only two accounts. What is that this degree of pandemic is going to affect the business? How long it is going to last, we do not know. Based on the length of it, where the normalcy, while lockdown will be lifted, but we have to see that which are the areas where business is coming back to normalcy. So we believe that Capri being doing business in tier 3, tier 4 cities, where still
there is sufficient liquidity in the system and being made available to NBFC.
Yes, that's right.
Fair. Okay. The second point here is that, as things open up and, come June, July, would it be safe to say that we might face a situation of an increased working capital requirement from all of these SMEs or small units, one from, expanding their businesses or covering over for their loss of opportunity, and or maybe trying to honor their obligations?
I think many businesses which have lost their cash flow, they will require the working capital requirement. I do not see, except few sector of where grocery and essential items supplies are being at home and some of the people are able to grow their businesses. Barring those type of businesses, I think nobody is going to expand their business even on the retail borrowers. But they would need money because they are lost on cash flow of 2 to 3 months and further they can see the slowdown. So while they have also cut their cost and take various measures, and they might require the money for the working capital, there are a lot of borrowers, despite this lockdown, and their businesses are not generating adequate cash flow or no cash flow at all. So in the past saving, they are making their EMI payment. I think those set of customers are something they are showing a good repayment track record, and for any NBFC lender to lend them should not be any hesitation.
Right. Sure. Yeah. True. And for the last point here, the situation is very fluid, and it's evolving with every passing day. Would it be safe to say that, this should be a 3 to 6 months journey for entire normalcy to come back, or a longer period? Normalcy in terms of NPAs, in terms
we
of...
believe that business coming back to normalcy will take longer time unless we see a certain way to treat the patient or the vaccine comes. People are not going to do a lot of activities like going to restaurant, travel, attending marriages, or leisure vacations. All are not going to come back to their normalcy. While there are the ways of doing business and other things may change, people will go more on digital and work from home, and maintaining social distance become a new normal. But few businesses are not going to see their cash flow coming back to normalcy for quite some time till this pandemic and the cure is found in a certain way.
Sure. Okay. Yeah, that's really helpful, sir. Thank you, and wish you all the best.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Ladies and gentlemen, if you have a question, please press star and 1 on your telephone keypad. Ladies and gentlemen, if you have a question, please press star and 1 on your telephone keypad. Next follow-up question comes from Raghav Kabra from Excel Investment. Go ahead.
Hello. Thanks for asking, sir, for the opportunity to ask question. One question which I need to ask is we have seen many companies taking strict measures to manage their cost during this current pandemic. If any, what sort of measures have you taken on the cost side?
So we are taking measures like we are renegotiating the rent of the branches and offices because we have almost 85 branches. We are not hiring the new hiring where people are resigning or leaving. We are not replacing them where we think, yes, another 2-3 months the business is not going to start, so we can defer it. Besides, we also have put our all expansion of branches on hold till the certainty comes to the markets and certainty comes in the way businesses are going to be conducted. Plus, incentive and all are going to be more on the collection side. The business side, there will be no payment on the incentive. So on every front, we have taken the measures.
Okay, sir. That's all from my side.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. That was the last question for the day. Now I hand over the floor to Mr. Rajesh Sharma for closing comments.
So at Capri, we will continue to pursue our stated line of strategy to continue to remain focused on MSME sector and continue to focus on the affordable housing. Construction finance, we are following a very unique strategy where ticket size of each transaction each borrower exposure is about less than 8 crore rupees. So I think we have to reassess our underwriting policies, which we already done. On ground, we are going to test it after the lockdown is open, which other businesses are going to restart and looking at their requirement, or those customers who still during moratorium period are paying on time despite that option was available to them. These are the customers' requirement we will try to assess and extend them the trade facilities. So in challenging times, we have to be more careful. We believe that we are well positioned to understand the situation, and we already have local knowledge of every market, which is going to help us to keep our asset quality in good shape, and we will focus on the growth once normalcy come back to the markets. Thank you so much. Thank you for attending the call.
Thank you, sir. Ladies and gentlemen, this concludes your conference for today. Thank you for your participation and for using Doorsaba's conference call service. You may disconnect your lines now. Thank you and have a pleasant day.